Over the last 15 plus years to be in a calling where I think I would remember, but I can't think of another time where we have specifically been asked by our general leaders to have a fifth Sunday topic so determined, and in fact telling us when to have it. So as we talked as a ward council, we felt like June would be a good time, and I appreciate Brother Nelson. He reached out to me shortly after we had a discussion and said I would be more than happy to help with this topic. He's got some background that he will sure share with us there. But brothers and sisters, I think the thought here is, and this, I don't think that the brethren are saying something bad's going to happen, get everything in line because on July 1st everything's changing. But I do think that this is a bit of a voice of warning and maybe a time for us as members of the church to just reflect and to think about how are we doing in not only financial preparedness, but also in some temporal preparedness and spiritual preparedness as well. So as we, as a ward council talked, we thought that we're going to take about the first 35 minutes or so and talk about financial preparedness with Brandon's help. And then also, back when we did our tithing settlement, the stake asked all of us to fill out a questionnaire in regards to our emergency preparedness. So Brother Travis Lemon is also going to share some things with us today in regards to emergency preparedness. I think as we counseled as a ward council and as a bishopric, I think our hope today is just to spur some thought and some conversation. We're not sure if something's going to happen or be said here today that is going to change your life forever. And 5, 10, 20 years from now you can say, on June 30th, my life changed because of this. But hopefully you can leave here today and say, maybe we could do this. Maybe we could look at our finances a little bit different. Maybe we're not really prepared. What can we do to start? Hopefully you have those thoughts and those impressions. Not only, I hope, do you have those thoughts and impressions, more importantly, I hope that you leave here and you act on those thoughts and impressions, because that's revelation. That's what we're all here to do, brothers and sisters. We're all here to receive some revelation. And as you act on those promptings and that revelation that you receive, there's no doubt about it that you'll do the right thing, because that's Heavenly Father communicating with you. So with that being said, and that intro, I'm going to turn the time over to Brother Nelson, and he's going to share some things following Brother Nelson. We'll turn the time over to Travis, and then I'll wrap things up.
Awesome. Can everybody hear me just fine? I have a quiet voice, so hopefully it's picked up. Apparently I have a new calling today, the self-reliance specialist, and that's exciting. Name's Brandon Nelson, for those of you who don't know me, give you a little background. I did graduate in finance and studied finance as well as my bachelor's and master's degree in finance. And so I also did a stint in financial advising after college and gained my series of exams and certificates. So I have a little bit of experience there. I'm sure there are others that are more qualified. I think this discussion is a passion of mine. Today we'll go through just some basics, some primary answers I call them, primary reasons for finance. Same, I equivalent then to the primary answers in church. We have primary answers that we should read our scriptures, go to the temple, say our prayer. What else? What are the other primary answers?
Go to church.
There you go. Did I say that? No. Go to church, say the prayers, read your scriptures, go to the temple. And so we're going to hear the same things when it comes to finance. There's primary answers to finance. Over and over again. Live in a budget, live within your means, stay out of debt, invest. We're going to go over this. It's going to be a lot of basic things, probably a lot of refreshers and reminders to that end. In that same letter that the bishop read, he talks about goals that we want to accomplish throughout this time together. And in that letter, first person says we want to understand have a good foundation of good financial principles. We're going to talk about those, basically the primary answers I just mentioned. And also we're going to talk about how to avoid unwise use of our finances. That's a big portion of the letter afterwards. Too many people are getting caught up in the shiny ball. Want to invest in this and getting attracted, maybe getting fair taxes, pressured. There we go, pressured into investing in a certain thing. So we're going to talk a lot about how to avoid falling in those traps. And then today, I want you to take away one thing. I have a financial ladder of things that I want you to work on, that we should all work on, and take a look at where you guys are in your family, and maybe look at that next step, how you can improve your finances. So those are our goals. Basically, first and foremost, pay your tithing. That's my suggestion. And I will say again, I'm not a professional financial advisor right now, I was, but do seek out advice from a financial advisor. It's a caveat before I start this. But first and foremost, pay your tithing. As the Lord says, prove me now herewith. Bring all tithes to the offering, and if I will not open the windows of heaven and pour out a blessing upon you, that there should not be room to receive it. I have a strong testimony of this principle. I do believe in it, and as my wife and I strive to live it, we're fully blessed. And I look back upon my own testimony of tithing. I don't really have a miracle example, a miracle moment that happened. And on that note, if you have a moment with President Atwood, he has an incredible story about tithing. I went off with him, ask him about it. Amazing story. But me personally, that's kind of my miracle, in essence, that I don't have that story. A miraculous story of tithing, that I had to make a choice of whether to pay this or pay tithing. I've always been blessed with enough because of me paying and striving to live the word of tithing. And also pay a generous fast offering, first and foremost. So once you've done that, you're ready for the next step. That's the boring step. You get budgeting. Never fun to budget. Basically spending less than you earn. And you can follow, there's two suggestions here, two tidbits that can help you with budgeting. You can follow the 50-20-30 rule, which is take all your income after taxes and divide it in 3 buckets. 50% goes into your needs, 20% goes to saving, and 30% is for your wants. That's one way to do it. Another way to do it for tech-savvy folks that I really enjoy, budget apps are fantastic. The best two that I've found are Mint. Mint is free, and it ties to your bank account, lets you know where you're spending. You can set up different budgets, different accounts, dining, mortgage, lets you know where you're approaching that budget and the goal. And Quicken is another one that I use personally. It's great. It ties to the account. I just pull up my phone with me wherever I am. I know where I am within that budget category throughout the month. An awesome quote that I loved when it comes to budgeting from David Copperfield and Charles Dickens. He says, annual income 20 pounds, annual expenditure 19 pounds, 19 shillings and 6 pence, result happiness. On the flip side, annual income 20 pounds, annual expenditure 20 pounds, odd 6, result misery. And in reality, those numbers are really close. Not very far in distance, but as far as result, it's dramatic. There's misery, happiness. And again, it's living within your means. It's not fun to do, but once you make a habit of it and do it with Mint or Quicken, it becomes easy and it just becomes second nature. So once you're living within your needs, within your means, it's time to avoid debt and avoid credit card debt at all costs. It is that finance killer. I mean, do you really need that newest, nicest phone? Do you need the newest, nicest QLED TV? Or can you afford it? That's usually a question that I ask myself. Can I afford it? And when I'm asking myself that question, the answer usually is no, I can't. I want a new boat. I need that bigger wage. Wes can back me up on that. I need to serve. And last year I was looking at a new boat and I thought to myself, I'm asking myself, can I afford it? Well, if I'm asking myself, the answer is no. Otherwise, on the flip side, it's dramatic, but say I go to Jimmy John's and I want a sandwich, I'm not asking myself, can I afford the sandwich? I just buy it. So ask yourself something that helps me. Can you afford it? And pay off consumer debt as soon as possible. There are those good good types of debt, again, as we know, with mortgage and the occasional car and student loans. But outside of that, you should try not to have any debt and pay off that debt as quickly as possible. Once you're done with that, any great financial plan is you're protecting yourself against risk. And you do this with insurance. There are lots and types of insurance, as we know: homeowner insurance, health insurance, life insurance, auto, disability. Any financial plan has these in place. So look at your finances, look, are you protected against risk? After that, we need to save for a rainy day. You need to save. Any financial advisor can tell you, usually it depends, but usually it's 3 to 6 months in savings that you need for a rainy day. A couple of examples of advice that I would give. One that I use is I just make it automatic. Automatically comes out of my bank account into a different bank account. So I don't see it, but I know it's happening. Every month, money's coming out of my savings, my checking account, going into my savings, a totally different account. And it's easy, it's automatic, and once I hit that 3 to 6 months, I've been so accustomed to living on whatever it is that I have left that I stop. I continue to do that, even though I had that 3 to 6 months. And I'll attest, it's extremely important. I was laid off a year and a half ago, and I needed this 3 to 6 months savings. And I lived off it, and I was grateful for it. I had it, and I wasn't stressed out. When I came, okay, I need to find a new job, and it was because of this emergency fund. Another app. Apps are fantastic with saving. I love Acorn. Acorn's a great app. Capital's another great app. It ties to your debit card, and it rounds up your purchases. So you say, if I buy a drink for $2.25, you can set whatever it is you want it to round up to. It'll round it up to $3. Take that 75 cents, and it'll send it to a savings account. It makes it easy. It makes it automatic. You don't think about it. And Acorn will even invest the savings as well, which is nice. So use those apps, or just make it automatic through your savings account. Once you're done with saving, once you're out of debt, then you get on to the fun thing, investing. We all want to start investing, but you can't quite get there until you have all those foundations in place. Again, you have your savings in place, your budget, your debt is paid off. Once you do that, you can invest. And this is what the First Presidency really wants us to stress, is avoid the pitfalls. There are very many pitfalls out there when it comes to investing. Very high pressure sales tactics. Purchase this because this offer is only today. Come back tomorrow, it's probably there, but it's only today. You need to make the decision now. Large return, be wary of the large returns with little investment. Just $1,000 investment, it's going to turn into $30,000 in just a few months. And that may be a little drastic, but be wary of those large promises for just a little investment. The get rich quick schemes, not for you. Don't worry about it. This is a marathon, and they do happen. Just like someone winning the lottery, it does happen. The chances of these happening to you are slim. So run away from those. Turn your back. Have a financial advisor. Seek out a trustworthy, credible financial advisor, and ask them their thoughts, or somebody that you trust. Fear tactics. I read a lot of blogs, a lot of financial websites, and currently right now a very popular email scam that's going around, approaching to be the most successful email scam in history, is based on fear tactics. And it's people purchasing passwords to email accounts and then sending emails to those people and saying, for example, Brandon, I have your password. And they state the password in the email. So right now I'm already hooked. Wow, that's my password. How did I get that? These people are acting like they're hackers. They're really not. You can purchase email passwords online. I don't know how they do. And they say, I have hacked your computer. I know your computer. I have files on your computer. I have all the contents on it. I know what you've been looking at on your computer. And if you don't pay me, I'm going to release this information to all your contacts. It's very, very effective. And usually it's a small amount, a couple $100, $1,000, and people pay that because they think that it's legit. So be aware of fear tactics. It happens all the time. And then finally, persuasion by power. Somebody that's smarter than you, VP, or somebody that's in a higher position than you. And and they're telling you about an investment. They're using that persuasion by power over you. You feel succumbed. Okay, for example, Bishop been trying to get me to invest in this one for a long time. I'm not having it.
Say only.
There it is. He's using his power upon me. It's not going to happen. But in all seriousness, this happens all the time. And it can easily happen to myself and any of us. So the best thing to do, as I mentioned, is seek out a trustworthy.
So another one that we hear a lot in Utah is so-and-so is a bishop and he invested,
Oh, there you go.
right?
Absolutely.
Or, so a lot of church positions get brought into these things also.
Very good point. A lot of church positions. Somebody, the bishop, stake president, did this. If he did it, it's legit. He's filled with the Spirit. And so always seek out advice from somebody else. Always back that up from somebody you trust. And I do that with my grandparents and my parents. I make sure they call me if they ever have any decision. If they're going to spend money for $500, that's the rule I've given them. You got to call me. Don't talk about it. And I went over to my dad's house, just barely, just a couple weeks ago. And he's got some silver bars on the table. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, Brandon, these were only $300 and they're worth $700. I'm like, why did you call me? He's like, well, it's not $500. So apparently I got to bring it down. They're supposed to be worth $700. Maybe he gets them. He calls me up last week. Well, Brandon, you're right. I took him to a silver shop and they're willing to give me $150 for him. He spent $300. So it happens all the time, even to my dad. But have that somebody that you can talk to. So once you're there, once you have the basis, ready to invest, my first suggestion is go to either 401k, 403b if you're a teacher, or if you're self-employed, or a small business owner, SEP, or a simple IRA. And I'm going to focus primarily on 401ks, so that's usually going to be the majority of all of us in investing. And you have two questions when it comes to 401k investing: how much and in what funds. And this can be very difficult. And I'm going to try to simplify it as easy as possible because it's not rocket science. It's not very, very difficult. Traditional thinking is saying that we need to invest up to the match. Talk to me. I think that's not enough, not nearly enough. We need to buck that trend of just investing up to the match and increase it. Your goal should be $19,000. And that may seem like a long ways away. And again, this is a marathon. It's not a race. You're not going to do it just this year. But if this is the run you're working on, your goal needs to be $19,000.
And that's not nice. So if you have dual income, both people can contribute $19,000. So one thing that like we've tried to do is not maybe get up to the limit, but each person take a portion of their paycheck towards that 401k fund. So if you are dual income, it's not limited per couple.
Awesome. Thank you for mentioning that. Great point. I did a little survey among my friends. This is about a year and a half ago. I found some that's not the right word, but interesting facts. I was a bit displeased about it, of how much my friends, my counterparts, people my same age, how much they were investing in their 401k. And 3 of them came back and weren't using it at all, even though they had a 401k at work. 8% were following the traditional thinking of investing up to the match that their company gave. 3 were between 6 and 10%, and only 1 was above 10%. I asked them how many were maxing it out, and only that one person, only investing over 10%, was actually maxing out the 401k. So make it your goal, in my opinion, to hit that 19,000 match. And then the next question, and then another trick to make that, as I mentioned, it's a marathon. Another trick to help you do that, at the end of each year, we usually get a few percent raise. Make it automatic in your 401k. You can go in there and say, I want to increase it every year by 1, 2, 3%. And that way, it just happens automatically. January 1st, you're already investing 2 more percent. You're trying to get to that 19,000. And then what funds? You have 2 options. You can do it yourself, and I'll try to make it as simple as possible, or you can have the financial institution do it for you. So if you want to do it yourself, these are suggestions from Vanguard. That's who I personally use. And first and foremost, they say 100, use the 100 rule, but now it's kind of moved now to the 120 rule because our life expectancy is increasing. We need our savings to last a little bit longer. So you take your age minus 100, take 120 minus your age. So say I'm 40, I'm almost there. 40 minus 120, that means 80%. That's how much I need in stock. And then 20% is how much I need in bonds, according to the 120 rule. And if you want to diversify that 80%, so put 50 in bonds, according to Vanguard, 30% in international, 50% in domestic stock, and then 30% in international stock. And then of your bonds, they say to diversify that, 5 to 7% in domestic bonds, and then 5 to 3% in international bonds. This is gonna, if you do this, it's cause you're gonna have to rebalance every year at your same asset allocation. So you can, next year, rebalance again to the 80-20. Or at the least, that if you don't want to do that, confuse yourself, target retirement funds are fantastic. Their expense ratios are a little bit higher, they're a little bit more expensive because they're doing everything for you, but they are fantastic. So target retirement fund 2055, that's the year that you would plan on retiring. Personally, I'd be 2045. And so I pick that, and they do it all. It's already diversified within that fund. They rebalance for you, which is fantastic. And then Vanguard's, their target retirement for 2045, it's a little bit more aggressive than that. 20 rule, it's 90% in stock and 10%. But the worst mistake you can make is not doing anything with a 401k. I've heard many, many times, going back into your retirement account 2-3 years later, see how you're doing, and see that all your money's just not growing, it's going into money market funds. If you don't put that money into a specific fund, it's just going to be in a money market fund, which is set at a net asset value of $1, and it's not going to grow. You're not going to lose it, but it's not going to grow. So the worst thing you can do is not invest. Once you're done with that, the next rung in the ladder is get a Roth IRA. You can get one in your name and one in your wife's name, as long as your income is less than $200 to $3,000. It pays out about $196 with the rules, but that should be your next goal. Okay, I've maxed out 19. I'm going to get a Roth IRA in my name and one in my spouse's name. I'm going to max it out at $6,000 each, with the same asset allocation that you had in the 401k. After that, I'm going to race through this. It's quite possibly my favorite retirement vehicle. It does require a lot of discretionary income, but it is fabulous. Almost, in my opinion, almost better than a Roth IRA. It has a larger contribution limit of $7,000. But how you use this as a retirement vehicle is you put your $7,000 in the HSA, and instead of using your HSA card for your medical expenses, you pay for your medical expenses out of pocket. Once you pay, keep those receipts, and you're allowing that $7,000 to compound annually, so that's $7,000 becoming tens of thousands come retirement age. And you can save those expenses. What's great is come retirement, you can use that HSA card for any medical expense tax-free. So it's in the HSA tax-free. And then when it comes out, as long as it's using for a medical expense, again, it's tax-free. And I'm going to use this for a vacation vehicle. So say come on 65 years old, I want to go on vacation. Say if I need to take out $4,000. I had a surgery, say this year, $4,000. I keep that expense. And then there's no time limit on when you submit an expense. So in 20 years, in retirement, 30 years in retirement, I can submit that expense and get that $4,000 tax-free and go on a vacation. It's fabulous. But again, it does require a lot of discretionary income. $7,000 a year HSA plus paying your medical expenses out of pocket. Finally, you need to remember college is expensive. And this bar, this rung of the ladder can go anywhere, and however you and your family feel about educational expenses. But it does go in tax-free. You do contributions receive up to a 5% tax credit, which is nice, not a deduction, it is a credit. They're very, very important. So here is, according to myself, the ladder of importance. And take a look at where you guys are financially and what you want to work on. Pay your tithing, first and foremost, and fast. You need to budget. You need to learn to spend less than you earn. You need to avoid debt. Protect yourself against risk with insurance. Once you have that 3 to 6 month savings, you can now invest. 401k, $19,000. Next step, 2 Roth IRAs, $6,000 each. And then after that, HSA, 7,000. Where are you? And how can you improve? And then again, the My 529 plan can kind of fall wherever you'd like. Utah has the best 529 plan, and in the really people all over the U.S. invest in our 529 plan. I'm going to finish with a message from the First Presidency. They could say it better than I can. This is based on the letter that they just gave us. They said, "We are concerned that some church members ignore the oft-repeated direction to prepare and live within a budget, avoid consumer debt, and to save against a time of need. Consideration should also be given to investing wisely with responsible and established financial institutions. We are also concerned that there are those who use relationships of trust to promote risky and even fraudulent investment in business. While all investments carry an element of risk, that risk can be managed by following sound and proven financial principles. First, avoid debt, especially consumer debt. Second, before investing, seek advice from a qualified licensed financial advisor. And third, be wise." I'm more than willing to help out with anybody that has any questions in setting those things up after this. But I know for all these things are things the Lord wants us to use our financial means wisely. I say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Wow, I didn't know I was going to be on the mic and all of this stuff. All right, I need you to get your phone out. Everybody find your phone if you would. We're going to play a little game, see how we're doing, see what we know. Brother John Jay is going to be my Vanna White up here. All right. Okay, so let's see. We're ready to go with classic mode. So get ready to join up just a minute here. I'll give you the... Okay, so I need you to go to kahoot.it, KAHOT.IT, put in the code 629166. Get your phone out. If you want to win, you got to play. Come on, let's go. Get your phones out. I hope that LDS Access can handle this. Brother Norton, are we going to be all right?
Go to LTE.
Get on the LTE. All right. 629166. Turn that music down. I've prepared a few questions for us to respond to, just to kind of check in. You can kind of check yourself and see how you're doing, what you think. We'll share some things quickly. Make sure that we're aware of some of the basic primary answers. Again, as Brandon mentioned, when it comes to emergency preparedness, so we're doing pretty good there. We got 31, 30. I'll give you a couple more minutes. So get your name in the hat if you want a chance to win. I've got prizes worth up to chocolate. Right? So I can't help you with the 529 or the 423 or the 6 whatever it was, but I can give you some chocolates. So the 401s and the nice smiley faces. Give you just a second more.
Funny print.
Nice. We got Oreos, we got a little bit. All right, here we go. We're going to start. You can still be joining. You got just a second more. Bob, thanks for joining. All right, we're going to get started. This code will stay up there. So if you get kicked out or something happens, the 629166, just go back in, put that in. I discovered myself that if you go to LDS.org, it automatically redirects you now to churchofjesuschrist.org. So let's go there. The answer, 3 months of long term, is correct. Many of us think that it's 2-year supply because that was preached for years. But here on churchofjesuschrist.org, I love this as a math teacher. You should take the amount of food that you need to purchase for your family for a day and multiply by 7. And that's how much you should purchase for a week. I love it. Right? All right, that's how much you should have for a 1 week supply. Anyways, continue on. Eventually you want to have 3 months. I believe the guideline has changed because in some countries in the world, stockpiling of food is illegal. So a 2-year supply is illegal, right? So they're encouraging a 3-month supply, and then if you're able to, long term, go beyond that, okay? In our circumstances, I believe going longer than 3 months can be possible, so we should be considering that. All right, next up, here we go. Ooh, Sister Baker. Nicely done. Nicely done. Where is she? Right there. We gotta spice it up a little bit. Give you a little bit. Marnay. Wait a minute. All right, here we go. Ready? Question number 2. Where should you put your food storage? The answer was on the screen just a second ago. At the Bishop's storehouse, in the garage, in a cool, dry place, in the attic. All right, we should have it in a cool, dry place. Excellent. Very nice. We just barely saw that up there on the screen. Right back here, it says to store it. Right there. Make sure your food storage is packaged and stored in a cool, dry place. Nicely done. Let's see who got it. Sister Baker's still in the lead. Marnay. Nice. People that are quick on the trigger, yeah? All right. Question number 3, which is not on the list of recommended items for food storage if you go to the church website. Which one of those is not on the list? Financial reserve, water supply, food supply, or heat source? A heat source is not on the list. So if we go back to the church website, which I would strongly recommend you I'll go visit here. These are the items that are on the list: a food supply, 3 months and long term, a water supply, and a financial reserve. My brother Nelson just talked to us about. Okay? This is an excellent resource. I would strongly encourage you to go there, check it out. Go to churchofjesuschrist.org and search for food storage, and it'll take you right here, and you can read quite a few things about what you should be doing. All right, next up, here we go. Wow, look at these people. KJ and KS. Love it. All right. Which of the following would be the most important item to have when it comes to survival?
Wow. My cell phone charger, not the phone,
Yeah.
charger.
Really good shoes, cell phone charger, clean drinking water, a hammer.
Hammock. Oh, sleep.
Yes. Yes, nice. Clean drinking water. Water storage is very, very important. Yeah, we're good. So, if you don't have a place to store water, I would strongly encourage you to get one. On the church website, it talks about using any container that's intended to store liquid. You can use old Gatorade bottles, pop bottles. You can go and buy 50-gallon drums. Whatever that is intended to store liquid can be used to store water. Okay? So if you don't have water storage, work on getting some.
Also, a good water filtration system is good to have.
Yes, yes. And there are lots of varieties and types of those. Brother Baum, I don't see it in here, but he's got some that go right on the top of a water bottle. There's all kinds of filtration systems that you can get, right? That's going to be the number one thing, is if you don't have water, you can only last, they actually say 7 days. The data from that comes from people that are sick and like in their last final days of life, right? So you maybe could last a little longer. Go ahead. So,
when it comes to reusing containers, please keep in mind, don't reuse something that's had harsh chemicals, bleach, or heavy detergents, that kind of stuff, because it leaches into the plastic, or if it's glass, there are even little nicks in the glass. I mean,
Yes.
It will be there forever. You
Only,
can't now.
only use things that store drinking liquid
Yeah, something
in
that
them.
would actually drink.
Yes. All right. Here we go. Next up, we're doing pretty good. You gotta see who's still at the top. Where's KJ? That's right there. We gotta get some prizes. We're supposed to help you with this. Here, we get some of these to KJ and KS, and he's gotta have one himself.
Come on,
Here,
Vanna,
I'm gonna
why
put John
is
Jay
your
in charge of
job?
that, 'cause I keep forgetting John Jay is on. Okay, all right. Here, John. While he's distracted, we're gonna go to the next one. How can I prepare for an emergency? According to our church preparedness webpage, what would be the most important thing to do? Make a plan, keep it up to date, be called as an emergency prepare. Hey, I'd love for that to happen to you. Live in a bomb shelter, read. There we go. Excellent, excellent. Oh, thanks. Marnie's gonna help. Distribute, they're right there. Okay, so make a plan and keep it up to date. If you, let's see, if we go here and look, it says, how can I prepare for an emergency? Number one item, you should make an emergency plan, and you should update it regularly. That's the number one thing. And then, hey, look at the very next heading. Avoid debt, live within your means. How closely tied these two topics are together, emergency preparedness and the financial nature of things we need to be thinking about. Okay? Start now to create a plan. If you don't already have one, update your present plan. The instability in the world today makes it imperative that we take heed of the counsel and prepare for the future. That's from Elder Elton Perry. All right. Here we go. Next up. Just pulled in chart, sorry. Hey, Beats.
Becky Beats.
Right there. All right, here we go. Next up. Okay. In an emergency, what do you need if you want to grab and go? What should you have to grab and go? Baseball card collection. Mine's in the attic. You better grab that. Good. Our 72-hour kits. 72-hour kits. If you don't have 72-hour kits, please get them. On the Friends of the Lehigh 29th Ward Facebook page, there have been several posts this last week by me about 72-hour kits. You can get lists of what you should have from ready.gov and from Be Ready Utah, and I posted those. You can purchase them. There's discounted ones that you can find all around, and I've got several links there available. You click and it ships. It'll be on your doorstep, okay? Get yourself some 72-hour kits so that you'll be ready and prepared for that. All right, let's see how we did here. Wow, here we go, Havens. Havens is on the board. All right, here we go. Next up. Which of the following most likely disasters to occur in our area? When you look at the Provident Living website, it says that we should have a plan that incorporates an understanding of the most current disasters. 3, 2, 1. All right. So earthquake and flood are both correct answers. So here on the Provident Living website, it says identify likely disasters. It's part of what we should do as our plan. And in our area, an earthquake, they actually are most concerned that we'll have an earthquake that will shift things such that our lakes will flood the most populated areas. They're afraid that Utah Lake and Great Salt Lake would actually drain into where everybody lives. So anyways, you may remember some of these headlines not too long ago. I don't know what happened there, yeah. So we had 140 earthquakes just this past year in February, right? My standing is away again. So February 13th to 25th, those were the recorded earthquakes. So it is something that's very possible that could happen. And of course, we all know about the flooding possibilities and what's happened this spring with
Park's
that.
closed, by the way.
Yeah, beware. There's signs, beware.
Our area average is like a major earthquake every 700 years, and it's been 1,100 years.
So,
We got time.
be ready. Be ready. All right, oh, we gotta move quick to get through these. Hey. Havens, I think Havens is BB on the board. Where's Havens? Right there. BB. Who's BB? Right there. Okay, boom. All right, next up, question number 8. A great place for emergency training. Where would be a great place to go to get some emergency training? We've got CERT training, COPE training, OSHA training, TSA training. Which one would be the best? Nice. CERT training. How many are CERT certified? Raise those hands. We've got a couple here. Yeah, we've got a couple more there. An opportunity for that will be coming along again. If you're interested, you go to this website, Lehigh CERT, and you can sign up and you can join in, and you can be, I think that's Chris Osler and me right there, going in and going out, right? Wasn't that us, Chris? We were part of that CERT training and learning how to use the fire extinguishers and all that stuff. All right, here we go. Next up. Any new baby? Oh, Sister Davis. Did she get a prize already? KS. Did you get your prize? All right. Which of the following is not a topic? Yes. It doesn't show up on Provident Living. About Church of Jesus Christ. Gardening, shopping, finances, education. Shopping is correct. It doesn't show up there. You go to Provident Living, you won't find it. Let's see, Provident Living, right over here. What we do have is we have education, emergency preparedness, employment, finances, food storage, gardening, and physical health. We won't take time now, but I would encourage you to go check that out. providentliving.churchofjesuschrist.org. Find out about those different items. There's a reason that the church has selected those and provided additional information. All right, let's see, we're almost there. Next up, do anybody do on the leaderboard? All right, preparing for emergency is like planting a tree. When's the best time?
Now.
Next month, on your anniversary.
20 years ago would be great. Yeah, you might remember a talk that was given by President, I believe this was Uchtdorf, yeah? And he talks about planting a tree, and he said the best time was 20 years ago, the second best time is now.
Well, that's why.
So you might want to get on it if you haven't been.
So I got that one correct just by.
Yeah, you're doing good there, John. All right, here we go. This is it. Live with faith, not fear. Be prepared, not fear. So logically, which statement follows? Faith makes me afraid. Faith is manifested by fear. If I'm afraid, I can fix it by hiding under a bushel. Getting prepared connects with demonstration of faith. Excellent, excellent. So we've heard both the phrases. Live with faith, not fear. Elder Cook actually gave a talk recently with that title. And we know that if you're prepared, you should not fear. And so, most definitely, getting prepared is a demonstration of faith. And I know that to be true, and I would encourage each of you to go for it. Here we go! Sister Baker, Sister Davis, and the Havens, excellent job. Yeah, you just give them some treats for that. So, our time is gone. I would encourage you. My goal was to get you to think a little bit and to mostly get you to be aware that if you go to the churchofjesuschrist.org website, you can find a lot of resources. Provident Living, Church of Jesus Christ website also has some excellent resources. So please turn there. Whatever, it's like ladders on a rung, like Brandon talked about. Whatever rung you're on, there's a next one, right? If you've got water storage, do you have 72-hour kits? If you've got 72-hour kits, do you have a 3-month supply? If you've got a 3-month supply, can you go long-term? Do you have the things that you need in your home? Chances are that if emergency were to happen, like for example an earthquake, which is the high option we would be asked to shelter in place. But probably not going to want people out on the roads after an earthquake. Do you have the things in your home so that you could be there and survive and live there as needed until otherwise determined, right? If we were asked to evacuate for some reason, do you have the things that you can grab and go, right? If fire swept through our area and they asked everyone to get out, do you have what you need so you can grab it and go? So be mindful of that, and I say that in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
I just want to thank both Brandon and Travis for helping us today. Again, I hope, if nothing more today, I hope you've had some thoughts and impressions, or maybe you've been able to judge a little bit where your family stands. Just for your information, we received a notice this week that our state's going to be hosting a special self-reliance course on personal finance starting on July 14th that's going to be held up at the junior high seminary. I know that we're all busy, and two, we think that these classes are for somebody that might need it more than we do. Can I just tell you, I've met so many people who have gone up to the state finance class, and not one person has not shared with me how great it's been for them personally and for their family situation. It's taught by people that are very educated, like Brother Nelson, and it's great information. So with that said, thank you very much. Again, hopefully you've had some thoughts today that will inspire you to make some small changes in your life. And I can promise you that Heavenly Father will tell you what you and your family need to do. He will, because we're His children. That's what He does. And I share that thought in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.